Good luck. Oh, we are live. Oh, I forgot to do the count. And we're back on another excited. I can't. I've been botching these up lately. It's so terrible. We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. I'm joined today by Triangulum Studios, Dom Paris, and we have an insider source from CBS who's here to tell us everything we want to know about Star Trek Discovery. Just kidding. It's Robbie, Earl Grey Trekkie. Cheers. Hello, guys. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you for the invite.
We already have a couple folks in the audience. Hey, Starfleet Boy. Hey, Jeremy. You can hop on too. I heard you were thinking about it. Hey, Conti. What's up, buddy? Hey, buddy. Yo, buddy. So thanks for joining me, gentlemen. We normally have a live stream about the original series at this time on Saturdays, and today was going to be the Balance of Terror episode, but life kind of happened a little differently, and so I'm switching things around for the next few weeks. During Discovery's airing, we're just going to have further Star Trek Discovery discussions on Saturdays at 3, so you guys are kicking that off. Plus, well, that's the end of the channel updates part, so now we can just start talking about Star Trek Discovery. So there we go. Awesome. Since we have two new guests on the show, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves to our audience. We could start with you, David, if you don't mind, and let us know a little bit about your Star Trek story, if that's okay.
No, it's not okay. No, just kidding. Hey, everyone, Triangulum Audio Studios, or David. I've been a Star Trek fan since I was 8 years old. I run a YouTube channel, and I just want to apologize in advance that I am not set up for camming. It's a whole great big debacle with the electricity here in the studio. So I apologize for that in advance, and I'm happy to be here.
I've seen pictures of you, and that avatar is pretty accurate, so I think it's okay. Even the scowl.
Yes, exactly. My big scowl.
Your scowl too. And Dom, how's it going? Now you're on the center stage.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Dom. As you can see, my Twitter handle's there. I'm the
hello. Oh, hey, Ian. Hey, we're introducing Dom, but we're gonna introduce you next, so get ready.
So yeah, now I'm the content manager on Trek Central, where we wrap up news and talk about all new Star Trek stuff. So check me out there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this new episode of season 3 of Discovery.
When are you on next? When are you doing your next live stream?
Tomorrow, I believe, at 9 p.m. BST.
BST, all right, cool. We'll check it out.
So
it's the same time slot as the Lower Decks live streams.
Yeah.
I was having so much fun. I tuned in at the end of those, and I was having so much fun. So I'm looking forward to. Wow, look at this room! I'm looking forward to checking those out. How'd you come to Star Trek?
Well, I've been watching it since very young. My mum got me into it. We watched Voyager reruns on TV. And that was most of what I watched for a long time. So I think I've watched Voyager maybe in the double digits. It's a lot.
So you're like a Voyager expert.
Yeah. And then
nice. I need that in my life, so I'm glad you're here.
As the reruns went into TNG and DS9, just going into them, and TOS.
Excellent.
Who's your favorite Voyager character, just out of curiosity?
Oh, I haven't thought about that for a while.
Oh, stumped you already.
Well, I would guess at the moment I'll just say Tom Paris, because that's where my name comes from. I'm Don Harris.
Oh, I get it.
I wondered. I was wondering about that.
But you would have to ask me again because I tried to go for like interesting characters to pick as my favorite characters. So at the moment for like Enterprise, it would be like Greylick Durr from season 3, the
I
chemo
don't even know.
fighter guy.
Oh,
He's
look
my
at
favorite
you.
So I'll have to try and figure out who my favorite character in Voyager is now that I'm like deep in the Star Trek community.
By the way, audience, if you guys have any questions for the panel, let us know. As always, and welcome Alexandra to the stream. I'll see what you're doing there. TCCC, also known as Ian. Welcome to your first time on Starfleet. Boy, this is so exciting. My co-captain on A Question of Trek. We're here we're friends, but on that show we're mortal enemies, and I am constantly looking at ways to foil you, but that's not going to happen right now. So welcome to the stream.
You suffer from two-dimensional thinking, so
Cheers. How'd you tell our audience a little bit about yourself as you're new to them, and also your Star Trek story?
Yeah, well, I know it's got TCCC on there, but I'm known as Trek Cat. Okay, and my story goes back to my childhood. I watched Star Trek on a Saturday morning, whether it was the original series or the animated series. So that was me. So I sat there and watched it, sometimes with my dad, sometimes, well, 9 times out of 10 on my own, because my mother, unlike Dom, my mother didn't like Star Trek at all. She didn't like science fiction whatsoever. So it didn't quite help that I was into Star Trek, and then when my little brother came along, he loved Star Wars. So
the other Star franchise.
The other one that we, the franchise we won't talk about. But yeah, it's been a long time. We do Question of Trek together every Saturday night, and my other love is Lego. So I've started a YouTube channel, and which I am now doing builds predominantly Star Trek, but I am doing other science fiction franchises. I've done the Orville, I've done Battlestar Galactica, and there's another franchise one. When I finish the build, hopefully in the next couple of days, there'll be another video coming on pretty soon.
Excellent. Hey, very cool. And of course, Robbie, you've been on the show a couple times now, so you've already done your introduction, but it's nice to have you. New setting or a different view or angle, which is cool. So that's updated. We got a lot of folks in the audience. What's that?
So normally I just lie in my bed.
It's this show, when I said this show is casual and informal, it's true. You guys can feel free to do the same. Just, lay in your bed or whatever, have a snack. I ate pasta last night on my live stream. It was pretty fun. So everyone here has seen Star Trek Discovery season 3 episode 1 maybe more than once. And so a couple days have passed by, so I think like any recency bias may be falling by the wayside, and I was just wondering, how do you feel about it like days later? How do you still like it? What do you got going on in your heads?
Well, I just finished watching it again, so I watched it earlier this afternoon. So I'm still feeling good about it. I like the new direction that it's gone. I know it's a bit Andromeda, but I
never watched Andromeda. Did you guys watch that show?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
We got a yep from Ian and David, right?
Yep.
Are
you guys feeling strong Andromeda vibes from the first episode?
Yeah.
Not really. I wasn't.
There's a little bit, obviously, for people who don't know. Andromeda is another science fiction story.
Gene Roddenberry, right?
Gene Roddenberry,
yeah.
And the TV show was produced by Marjorie Barrett Roddenberry. and it talks about bringing back the Commonwealth. A guy gets caught in the event horizon of a black hole, gets pulled out hundreds and hundreds of years later. The Commonwealth no more. So his aim is to bring back the Commonwealth. So it's got that's where the similarities lie.
You just described Buck Rogers to me.
That's a tiny bit of one, but I see the similarities between Discovery Episode 1 and Andromeda.
So the Federation, though, is the common unwealth, right? One.
The Commonwealth. The lack of.
Well, I am okay with that because it's a Gene Roddenberry show. I feel like Gene Roddenberry was probably making Star Trek all his things were Star Trek except maybe the Lieutenant show or whatever that he did with. But it had that Gene Roddenberry philosophy and style put into it. That's interesting. It'll be curious to see where it goes. If I have the time, I have to watch Andromeda. I think it sounds like it's a shame that I never saw it or never watched it when it airs, because a lot of people have been pointing it out and saying that they like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a show that you probably will watch once and never want to watch it again. It wasn't that it was horrible, don't get me wrong, but as the show went on, it got progressively worse. So that's kind of the big problem with it. And the show really is about, 5 or 7 people who are trying to put this Commonwealth back together. And at times it gets kind of ridiculous because of that. So that's where I think that it's a big difference between Discovery and Andromeda, where Discovery, it seems like the Federation, all those member worlds probably wanted still the Federation to exist. But in the show Andromeda, nobody wanted the Commonwealth anymore.
Was the Andromeda show Kevin Sorbo? Do you guys know?
Yes.
It was
okay.
Kevin Sorbo. So it was the Hercules character, Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, very much.
And then Conti says Earth Final Conflict was a very different to Star Trek, but also a great story by Gene Roddenberry. I also didn't watch that show. I'm such a bad Gene Roddenberry person. So
I must admit, I sort of get clips of it on the TV. Over here, we've got the horror channel, and they have that on there. But it's when I'm flicking, I'll see it, but it doesn't appeal to me.
I can't. Dom and I have the benefit of having seen episode 2, which we can't really talk about at all because we made personal agreements with Michelle Paradise. She made us all swear not to talk about it, but I think you guys are in for a treat if you do like episode 1. However, in episode 1, it feels like the Federation's not gone. It's just not.
It's not connected.
It's like
that's what we've heard from interviews and stuff. That it's not 100% gone. It's just reduced in size due to this cataclysm.
Yeah, I think it said there was the believers. You have the believers, and the bit with the space station, whatever you want to call it, at the end, where his long range sensors have gone. He's disconnected, so it is fragmented. So
and I want to just bring attention to that guy, Mr. Sahil, because I absolutely adored him. He was the best part of the episode for me.
Agreed.
Just how great the actor was in showing the emotion in. Oh, here we go.
There we go. There he is.
The actor was amazing. You could sense the emotion in what he was saying, the little mannerisms, like looking around.
Adil Hussein, I believe is his name. Yeah, he's very cool.
Played by Adil Hussein, who apparently loves this character. If you just look at his Twitter, it's replying to people being like, thanks for liking my character, I really love it. And just how dedicated he is to the Federation, and he had this hope that there were others out there like him, and finally Burnham walked through the door, and all those 40 years of being alone have paid off.
It was such a beautiful scene, and also the episode was just that like really surprised me when when they released that scene that was like the beginning of Discovery, and it was the space battle, you know, the spaceship scene and everything like, and I thought that's how the show was going to open, but instead it opens with this guy in a parrot alarm clock and like doing his daily routine and like just like in this like wonderful way with I found out later that it's actually a Mozart piece that's playing over that whole sequence, and you see him. I'll have to find the actual piece and post it, but you see him, you know, going through his routine of brushing his teeth or lasering his teeth or whatever people do in the future, and just like sitting down. He's like, you know, like again, just like that little hint at the beginning, and you're like, I've seen this guy in the trailers. I know he's important somehow. I wonder how it's going to play out. And everyone had like a million kind of speculative thoughts. Like I thought maybe he's a hologram, maybe, you know, like there were so many things. And so I didn't think we would get like such a reward from that character as we did, but it worked so beautiful. It was so wonderfully crafted, and he keeps crediting Sonequa Martin Green and Olatunde Osunsami. I hope I said that correctly. As he is such a gracious performer, it seems, but he keeps crediting them. But honestly, like it is all of, you know, the three of them, including Book's reactions, just in that scene. Like, yeah, I've really dived into that scene and just kind of like seared it into my heart because it's just such a powerful scene. And I think I was saying what resonates, I think, is that like we're all kind of doing that, right? Like the world's kind of changing in a strange way. There's a lot of unfamiliar and uncertain times ahead, and you know, you find out about things that just don't seem very like earthly, you know, or Federation or human, you know, or humanity's doing a lot of crazy shit right now. And so like one feels like they're Mr. Federation sitting and waiting for that Starfleet officer to come and save the day, that hope, you know, which is Michael Burnham. And so it just resonated a lot, I thought. So good call out.
I think we're all waiting for hope. We're waiting for normality. So I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that. But on a humorous side, the one thing that I would love that bed. You would never have to make a bed again.
Yeah.
You know, you get up, it goes away. You get ready for bed, it comes
And
back,
you just
and
get a
it's
lot
made.
of space in your room. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my bed takes up most of my room because it's a small room. I would love if it just disappeared when I woke up. And I had space to do
If it stops
whatever.
working, though,
You just
if
sleep
it
on the
stops working,
floor.
it's got nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it like stops working, then you're screwed.
Yeah, could you imagine getting up and think, no, I don't want to get up, and it starts going away, and then you go back down again. You just collapse on the floor.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people said they would love to have that bit for the teeth. Just stand there in front of the mirror and go, oh,
Like,
and then
10
it just
seconds.
gets clean for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we've
brushed my
seen-
teeth before this live stream, and I wished I had that laser thing because I could just do it in 5 seconds. It would have been nice.
It would be good. It would be just 10 seconds and it's done, and you'd have brilliant white teeth.
My actual first name is Sohail, as many of you know, and so I love when people are saying Mr. Sohail gives us hope. I love. I actually have a very vain theory that they were watching Starfleet Boy and they heard Sean, because he says my name like Sahil. He doesn't actually say Sohail, the way it's supposed to be pronounced. So I think that they heard him saying my name and they were like, oh yeah, let's name this guy after Starfleet Boy. No, I'm just kidding. that's definitely not what happened, I promise.
That is hope, isn't it? That really is hope.
We've got a couple of comments. Let's see here. So Daniel is in the middle of Discovery Season 2. We're going to spoil everything for you, Daniel. Sorry.
It's not
Yeah.
supposed to be. We will-
Don't blame us. Don't get mad at us. Oh, but you're not spoiling anything for me because there's so much Trek going on for me that 90% of what's discussed today will be forgotten by me. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully you'll wake up tomorrow morning and it will be a
Cheers.
bad dream and you won't know anything.
we actually play, Daniel, I don't know if you know this, but we play a hypnotic. You can't actually hear it's just outside the auditory range. There's like a hypnotic, like repeating pattern that forces you to remember every single word we say. And so it's going to be very painful if you try to forget. So. Mr. Sohail or Sahil was Starfleet through and through, especially since he started his vigil at probably 10. Yeah, that's the estimate that I think someone on this stream suggested it to me first, and I've heard that a couple times, which is that something must have happened, and he may have lost his parental unit at the tender age of 10, and so maybe he was raised by all that technology on the space station. I mean, if you have a bed, a room that can, this matter that can be programmed to look like whatever you want, I can only imagine what other technologies are available. So he probably has a space nanny.
And especially the fact that he said there was no commissioned officer to commission him, but he says that his father was a commissioned officer.
And
makes
his
me
father's
think
father,
that, yeah, that his
Suggests a
father
tragedy.
died before he could promote his son, commission his son. So yeah.
I think the joy in his face as well when Burnham says, "Will you be the
All right.
communications chief?"
Chief, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's sort of like it's sort of you're geeking out a bit, aren't you? Going, I get a commission, Oh,
If any of us were just like Burnham appeared and was like, "Hey, I want to commission you," we'd geek out like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
heck yeah.
Yep.
So he's now Chief. Actually, we can now call him Chief Sahil
Oh.
if we want to. He's a chief. So it's cool. Like O'Brien, it's a long tradition of good chiefs out there doing a good job. I like the line also that he says, like, I actually don't know what's left of the Federation, but I do my small part every single day to keep it going. Like, that's just like, that's the thing that like a lot of people have argued about Discovery kind of focusing on Burnham, because she is a flawed character and she does go way outside of like what we expect from seeing all these kind of like examples of duty and people like following duty, and especially like TNG era, like Janeway's a stickler for duty, Picard's a stickler for duty. I mean, like Kirk, all of them. Until Burnham, I think one of the things that's like a little jostling about her in particular is that she was fucking up everywhere, like left and right. Like she created a mutiny. She was like one of the first people to ever mutiny in Starfleet. She was responsible for like a terrible war that killed like hundreds of thousands of people, like, and a lot of the critique about her character is like, that's not how a Starfleet officer behaves and stuff like that. But I think that that's what is great about her character, is that like we all have to become that person. Like Picard got stabbed by Nosigans because he was antagonizing them. That's not very Starfleet, like we're seeing Burnham grow into that. And I thought this moment when she commissions Mr. Sawhill, it's like this whole episode, it's a whole new Burnham. First of all, like it's a whole new vibe. She's like it's like something's released, some sort of weight or stress is released from her, some sort of angst, if you will. But then that moment at the end, like when she's able to commission, it works beautifully both ways, because you have this like duty driven person who was not a Starfleet officer, and then this Starfleet officers that has had a really rough time in their life so far coming together, and it's almost healing, like for both of them. They both connect and give each other something. You could tell through Sonequa Martin Green's acting that he is inspiring her in ways that like she's just overwhelmed with like a sense of relief that there's someone who's representing what she loves, and then her coming along being an actual like jewel or remnant from the past of the Federation is like so important to him. And then she commissions him. It's awesome.
For me, I think that so far this has been the best crafted Discovery episode, because I actually felt like I was on the journey with Michael. As she went, I was just as confused as she was. I was just as hesitant. I was waiting for all these pieces to come together, and then that payoff in the last scene. I mean, it was so emotional for me, and it's been a long time since I've been that emotionally invested in a Star Trek series. So I feel like, Discovery is finally finding its footing, just like TNG season 3 was when they found theirs, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's very spot on.
I think if this episode had been the Discovery crew, it wouldn't have worked.
It would have.
We learn along with. I think if this episode had been the Discovery crew we were following, it wouldn't have worked.
No, you're right. I agree. Yeah. I think. Well, I think it's going to be the first couple is going to be about Michael. I know you two, Dom. So
we can neither confirm nor deny.
I think season 2 is when she starts growing her hair. You know, she starts getting what have you. But yeah, I think sort of going back about Michael, I think the difference between the others is pretty much Kirk, Picard, Janeway, Cisco. They're pretty much set in their ways already. They're a little bit older. You know, I know Kirk was the youngest, but the rest of them are sort of older. You know, Picard had been a captain for quite a few years, and you know, Michael Burnham wasn't. She was still. I think she was still quite conflicted between the human side and being raised in Vulcan. It's that sort of didn't help. She I don't think she really was emotionally mature enough for it, and I think you're starting to see that maturity now. I think it was great. This episode was great because she seems to spend season 1 and 2 just crying all the time, and you see her fighting back the tears. It looks like she's going to cry, but no, she fights it back and she carries on. I think she's a you know, everything that's gone on in season 1 and 2 has made her that stronger person.
I think this season she'll be more of a hopeful person than fearful.
Agreed.
Yeah,
because that was definitely like the journey she went on in, especially the first season, and then partly the second season. So she's definitely in a much stronger place than she was originally.
I think the interactions with Spock really sort of coming into the end of season, you know, the middle to the end of season 2, has sort of really worked towards that bit.
Yeah,
really.
and I would definitely say like they helped each other in that regard.
I think so.
Both with the emotional side, I would say.
Yeah.
And reconciling their humanity together, yet still keeping their Vulcanness, their logical side to them.
Yeah.
And how
do you guys
conflate.
Do you guys think that Spock's? Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Dom. I didn't mean to.
I finished.
Do you guys think that Spock's character is better off as a character, not like necessarily who portrayed him, but just as a character as a whole? Do you guys like the additions that Discovery gives us to his character, or did you find them troublesome in any way?
No, I think it's quite good because you see, obviously from the cage, he is quite an emotional person. When you get to TOS, that's gone. I know a lot of it was down to the differences between Jeffrey Hunter and William Shatner, how Leonard Nimoy portrayed him. But I think with Discovery adds to how did he get that from that journey from the Spock in the cage to the one we see in TOS.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. There was very much a logical progression of the character from the cage to when we see him in the TOS. And yeah, I think it enhanced like a character which I didn't think need to be enhanced, which is amazing.
It was like an added bonus. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
By the way, someone named Jace says hi to you specifically,
Yes.
and also hi to all of us. So hi, Jace. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here.
Hey.
What about you guys, David and Robbie, about Spock? What do you think of Spock in general, all of you guys? Do you love Spock, or is he just like okay?
I love Spock.
Yeah, me too. I think Ethan Peck did an excellent job, and I think showing this character's progression is something I am so looking forward to with Strange New Worlds.
I know, it's
cannot
exciting.
wait. I mean, start filming now, people. Start. You know,
they have to encase themselves into these encampments, like
yeah, I heard that.
like where they can't
bubbles.
go. Yeah, so like performers
like
are actually
hamsters in the
sacrificing.
wheel. I mean, in the ball,
Yeah,
you know, the
it's
hamster
true.
balls.
The performers in the production industry are sacrificing a lot to get these shows that are starting up now, because a lot of shows are starting. So kudos to you guys, because like I really needed Star Trek in the it was a rough year. I don't know about everyone else, but it was like a really crazy year with lots of shitty surprises, and so I would say that Star Trek's been wonderful. So cheers to everyone making any show that anyone loves, because it's quite nice to have a release and an escape from that. We talked a little bit last night about how the theater industry is changing, and like Disney's no longer emphasizing films for screen. They're going to focus on video on demand, and I thought that was an interesting thing too. But that can go into a whole rabbit hole of its own.
I think, to be honest, I think Star Trek's going to go that way. I think when it goes to Paramount Plus, because they're obviously it's not going to be CBS All Access, it's going to be Paramount Plus. I think we're going to start to see feature-length episodes, feature-length mini-series of Star Trek. I think that's the way Star Trek's going to go.
And I think especially with the short Trek angle that they went originally, with those small self-contained episodes, they might even make long treks. Which is just like
oh my!
Theatrical episodes for Paramount Plus, and especially like the new film chief of Paramount, Emma Watts, whatever, is reanalyzing their slate. So if it is like, we can just make for streaming movies, and we've got Star Trek, which has already got a massive platform of stuff, it works well.
That's very cool. I mean, as a Trekkie, as a true believer, that makes me very happy. Sorry about, I don't know what that loud
that's
sound.
you vacuuming?
No, I don't think it's a vacuum. I have no idea what that is. I've never heard that sound before, so I'm like scared that like the bubble of my universe is closing, and unless Dr. Crusher can come and save me, I'm done for. We have a couple of comments, so I'll go to that. Unless anyone, feel free to chime in with anything else you guys have any thoughts on that. But we have I love all the Spocks, Daniel, Co, but Ethan Peck is the sexiest bearded Spock, and Quinto the hottest beardless Spock, and Nimoy the most quintessential. Well, Nimoy is the definitive Spock, isn't he? Stress free K. I have created a fake. You guys might think I'm insane or crazy. I'm sorry if you didn't know already. But I've created in my imagination for these COVID times a husband. It's Lumberjack Spock, and he looks he looks a lot like it's true. He looks a lot like a bearded Ethan Peck Spock. So I agree with Stress Free K. What's that, Dom?
I was going to well, before Dom, I was going to say, so it's basically Ethan Pegg with a plaid shirt.
And yes, and apparently now he sometimes wears a kilt because that's what the internet suggested,
yes, right,
and
right.
so he went with that. Yeah, it's true. When he's chopping wood, especially when he's out there, like lumberjacking, it's like that's the time to. Well, you want to be free, right? Like I learned that too. I didn't know that about
when
kilts.
you're chopping wood, you want to be free. Okay,
free, it's true. I don't know when you've been through what she's been through. You'd cry a lot and overtly emotional. Yeah, Burnham's had a really shitty life. At least the last 2 seasons, it's been hard. I think Pike gave her kind of like re-injected her faith, if you will, but Lorca messed them all up. I think that like there's an interesting angle of a PTSD story with this crew, because Lorca really, I mean, like imagine like you're trained to trust your captain, and then you find out that your captain is like this like nefarious guy from the mirror universe that was using all of you just to get back to his universe. Like it's kind of it's like a F up. So yeah, Saru, I think in the end of season 1, that's one of the standout moments for me, is when he addresses the crew and engineering and talks about like there's no wins, he's like there's no win situation or something like that. We will do this. That was like a really cool moment that like had notes of that Star Trek duty that we all love to see.
He's captain material.
He definitely is captain material.
And then
I would agree.
Talking about Saru, I just want to see more of him this season.
Yeah.
And how captainy he has become,
Can be.
because he definitely has. He was a co-captain alongside Pike. That says a lot. If you can.
That's right. I forgot that. Pike. I forgot how gracious Pike is too. He didn't actually like demote him. He was the co-captain. That's right.
We'll share it.
Yeah, I love that.
I just want to see him, rallying the Discovery and being like, we're alone, but we can do it.
Oh, how are you, David? How are you in the chat and here at the same time?
Magic.
Oh wait, and Trek. How are you, Ian? You're here too. This
Yeah.
is crazy. There's an imposter version of
This is the
me.
joys of having tech. There you go.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Cheers. Thanks. You guys are all promoted to chat moderators. Although we have a really good crowd in the chat always. There's always nice folks and respectful in our chat. So Lumberjack Ethan Spock, be still my heart. Yes. Jonathan Brown's eyes. Yes. Starfleet Boy, I hope you don't mind if I have my ways with his twin brother. Oh, that's a nice. You had saved that really nicely, Alexandra, because I was starting to get a little jealous there. But you can actually, Lumberjack Spock is actually a lot more modern than I am in terms of his ideas of like polyamory and like sexuality and stuff like that. So I don't think you would need. I don't think you would need to to go that
If there's
far.
a lumberjack Spock, is there a lumberjack Cybok?
Oh yes, there
Ooh.
definitely is room for a lumberjack anyone in Star Trek, I think. Dom's also in the chat. This is so cool.
So it's really weird. All I'm getting is the Monty Python song.
What are your biggest where were you on, like, where were you in terms of like being engaged with Discovery before season 3? Like how did you feel about the show before this season, and how did this episode change those feelings? And that goes for you too, audience.
Oh, I was with Discovery. I liked it. I saw it improving from season 1 to season 2, but season 3 already has me just enthralled. I am as invested right now as when I first saw The Best of Both Worlds Part 1, waiting that goddamn summer for part 2, not
That
knowing
was
what was going to
grueling.
happen.
It's
Yes,
true.
and now I
And
find myself week to
true.
week just waiting, for the next episodes. Lower Decks was the same way, but now Discovery, wow, like I'm just blown away at what Star Trek is becoming.
Cheers, Dom.
Well, I mean, I watched Discovery from when it came out. It was quite emotional, as it was my first Trek show as it was
Aw.
airing. So, you always have that special first. And then I got more invested into season 2 because that's when I joined the Trek Central team. So that was more like, okay, I'm gonna get my theorizing head on and think, oh, what's that mean? And just dedicate 80% of my brain at all times to Star Trek.
Wow, it's a lot of
help.
percentage to dedicate.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
I was throwing out a random number. I was trying to say 90, but that seemed too
That's
much. And I will put it out there and say, when I first watched the first episode of season 3, I was a little bit disappointed, I would say. But there's still a lot of
Burn the
things I
witch!
liked in the first episode, but on rewatches I like it much more. There are still some things I have some grievances with this episode, but from what I've seen and where it's going, I'm very much excited for the rest of what we are to expect.
Dom, I know you probably want to save your detailed thoughts for tomorrow's live stream on Trek Central, but just give us some bullet points of the things that like really kind of were disappointing, if you don't mind.
I will probably say some of the more generic sci-fi elements around like the later half of Act 2, with the Orions and the Andorians. I loved that they were Orions and Andorians, and I loved the leaders. Some people in my Discord related them to like Shooty and Bang Bang from the old Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV show. And
I haven't thought about that in such a long time.
Interactions. But just some of it, I was just like, eh. But I will say on rewatch, I like it much more. But yeah.
That's funny. I like those characters. They were so dumb. They're just like
Yeah.
such idiots. But I do think that like the shooty bang bang stuff, obviously, it I definitely it didn't hold my interest in some of the other concepts. Like, but that's like kind of like that's kind of like you kind of always get a little bit of disappointment with anything that's going to be trying to appeal to the masses, right? Because they're trying to get something for like everyone. But yeah, I look forward to hearing more details tomorrow on the live stream on Trek Central. That'll be cool. What about you, Robbie or Ian? Yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Ian.
I was. That's,
Sorry, I'm such a bad host. I put you guys both on at the same time. Go ahead.
sorry. I really liked the episode. I think it was a great introduction into season 3. And I think it was it wasn't too fast paced. And there was a lot of exposition, but it wasn't forced. And I'm really excited for episode 2.
Where did you sit with Star Trek Discovery before this season? Like, how were you feeling about it as a whole?
I was excited, but I wasn't a fan of it being so dark and so complicated and confusing.
And you felt like something changed this season for sure, like just based on the first episode. Cool. Ooh, now I smell something nice, like a fragrance. Oh, what's going on out there? It's so weird. You're up, Ian.
I sort of following on with what Don was saying. The one bit I would like to say, somebody raised it yesterday on, it was either Twitter or Instagram, I can't remember where. And the more I thought about it, the more I agreed with it, was why the hell didn't Michael say anything about everybody being disintegrated? Why wasn't there a comment saying, isn't there a stun function? Because obviously the phasers have stun, they got killed, but she just went along with everybody being killed.
Well, she was high as fuck.
Yeah, okay.
It could have been like a video. It could have been like a video. It is sad. It is true. I do agree.
But I think, somebody did say, and it just had to be one, just a small comment saying, isn't there a stun function on there? But I think that was a few people said that, because everybody said, oh, does Starfleet just kill now? And I was saying, well, they weren't Starfleet.
Yeah.
But it was, she just went with it. She didn't try to say anything or do anything, and I think that was the one critique that I think I have for it. But generally, loved it.
I like the way you pointed that out, because Trek on the Tube, Sean, I love you. I hope he's still listening. But he pointed out, he triggered me. He loves to do this, and he called her a murderer. He was just like, she's a murderer, and so I immediately went into the defensive posture and said, and this is true. Well, they're not putting their stuff on stun, right? If they're trying to kill them, so like there is a self-defense like justification here. But when you say it like this, like. When you say it like this, it is true that like I think that like typically a trained Starfleet officer would prefer to stun over disintegrate. So that is a good question. I don't know how I feel about it. I'll have to think about that more now that you posed it in this way. Before I was like, whatever, they're trying to kill her. Like, like,
even in Starfleet before, people were trying to kill them, they just stunned them. It's been throughout. It's only been in extreme. Sorry, Jason. No, I'm not from London. I was born in London, but I'm not from London. So I just called out the bottom.
Do you have the same accent that Book has? Or do you have a Hackney accent?
Yeah. Well, I actually do come from the south. I was born in southeast London, so that is where I was born. I moved away when I was 9. And then I've gone all over the place in the UK, but I've settled where I live for the last 20 years, which is the south of England.
Is that like Shropshire and places like that?
It's actually Hampshire.
Hampshire. Okay, very cool.
Hampshire. So yeah. So yes, I do. It is a pseudo London accent, but it's more of no, it's definitely not the Queen. And,
We are looking forward to visiting you, Ian, one day. I shall come with my full retinue.
yeah, well, I was gonna say there's only one queen, but I've reserved judgment, and that was going to be Long Live Grudge.
Yes,
We love
nice.
Grudge.
We do love Grudge. We do love Grudge. Daniel says, I like how Discovery follows the Trek tradition of offering many different types of stories. One week there's an action episode, one week there's a humorous one, and then there's a thought-provoking one. Yeah, I do like that too.
And I think we're looking at maybe season 3 going that way, because I would say this was humorous.
Yes.
You know, you had Burnham high as a kite.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think I've got a friend with red hair. Don't give her this. Yeah.
Yeah. They
It's
saved
so
all
good.
the things.
Conti had to go because he's prepping for A Question of Trek, which comes on a little bit later.
Yeah.
I have to shoot off. So, by the way, I don't know if we've filled the spot, but if any of you guys would like to be on, we are looking for a contestant. We had a dropout, so let us know after. And that goes for you guys too in the audience. Dom, I interrupted you again. Please finish your thought.
I just said I saved all the things. That was my thought.
That was
You managed
No,
to get them just as Dom's finishing every time.
Yeah. But you know, it was, I would say, mostly humorous, this episode, and it would be interesting to see where they're going. I think it's Olotunde again for episode 2.
Oh, I
and
didn't pay
then
attention.
we
But yeah,
have,
probably.
Frakes for episode 3.
Mm.
So we might get that same different types of episodes, but you know, it's always a joy to see Frakes.
They did release the episode names on the Ready Room, by the way, so those are available.
Yeah, I also saw on Netflix they've got all the episode names as well.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh.
I did
Wait,
see.
all of them, the whole
I
season,
think
or just like a?
I just briefly, because when I did the review again, because I went back in this afternoon, I looked and they did seem to have the names, so
Yes.
I will check.
There are some interesting names.
Yeah.
This channel is fun. Maybe it's the extra glass of wine I had with dinner. Cheers to you, Chase. Thank you for saying it's fun. It's not the channel. It's these guys. You guys are fun. Thank you for coming on to talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. So we only go on for an hour, so we've got about 10 minutes left. Dom and I are excluded from this, but gentlemen, what are your speculations, or what are your hopes? What are your hopes for next episode and the season? We could talk season beyond, Dom and I, but what are your hopes for the next episode and the season beyond?
Well, personally, I cannot wait to see Earth. I want to know what the heck is going on there right now. You know, did Starfleet also collapse, or do they just protect their own system? Are they still trying to figure out what's going on? You know, so I want to see like that. And the one thing I don't want is I don't want Burnham to be the cause of this dilithium issue. You know, I don't want her time suit to have been, you know, like I don't want another thing put on her shoulders.
Let's not let the burn be the burn in Burnham.
Exactly.
I would really feel sorry for Burnham if they blamed her, because she sort of disappeared sort of 800 years or so before the burn actually happened, and they'll say, yeah, you did this 800 years ago.
Yeah.
It's your fault. That would be really, yeah. I'm hoping just for I think the next episode is a continuation of this one. Obviously, it's going to be Book and Burnham. Bookham. I think it's going to be there. And as I said earlier, I just want Saru to be captain. That's what I want. He deserves to be captain. He's captain of the Discovery.
And Robbie?
I hope that the Discovery has a dangerous situation when they're crashing. I hope that they unite as a team, and we see Saru on the bridge as captain, and we see the crew try to help Burnham to figure out what's gone wrong.
Cheers. And then for the whole season, I guess, also just kind of going off of that, right?
I hope that the burn is quite interesting and it's not disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think following on from Robbie, I want it to be more ensemble. I don't want it to be just Burnham and Burnham, Booker, and Saru. I want all the others to really start. They started coming out in season 2. With Pike
we have
saying name off.
Detmer, Owoshikun, we have Reese, we have who else is well, Stamets, of course, and
Ariam.
Ariam's gone.
I know Ariam's gone, but still, that you got to start knowing who the crew were, and
we've got Reno. Giorgio's supposed to be with them. We don't know what it's going to be exciting when we get back to the Discovery. I think
so.
Oh, one other thing that I would like some explanation on was that sort of throwaway line about the Gorn destroying 2 light years of subspace, which I'm assuming is the Omega particle. But what's going on with that? It was kind of a weird throwaway line in there.
It was a weird throwaway line. I took note of that too. And some people were saying that Burnham shouldn't know what the Gorn are, but it's not necessarily that they didn't know who the Gorn was. It's just that we saw them for the first time. They made first contact physically with with Captain Kirk, but they were known before that.
And also, she might more be surprised with they destroyed subspace than
I think that's exactly.
It was just Gorn did.
But that was an interesting throwaway line. It's true. Dom, for the season, what's your biggest hope for the season?
So the main thing, it comes from what I think it was this season in Discovery trailer, just seeing Detmer pilot the Nautilus, Booker's ship.
We got confirmed. It's called the Nautilus?
It's called Nautilus, yeah.
Oh, I was trying to. I was wondering. Okay, because I didn't know if the code was Nautilus or if the ship was Nautilus. So that's
the code
great.
Was sticky.
Yeah, no. Later, when he's going to Sanctuary 4, I thought the code was Nautilus. I didn't realize he was naming a ship. That's amazing. If that's awesome. I love that name because I was calling it Book's Bachelor Pad before that. That's what it looks like. So now that's a name.
That's quite fancy.
And a nice reference to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Very good sci-fi deep reference. It's very cool.
But yeah, just showing off, I think what Ian said, just more with the rest of the bridge crew and the Discovery crew. I want more Detmer because she's great. I want definitely more Reno. I love Tig Notaro.
Tig's amazing.
And I love what we saw in season 2 and just want that expanded. And then just how the new characters will fit into the dynamic and into the ship. So Adira and Gray.
Oh, I can't wait to meet Adira and Gray. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited about them.
Yeah.
I've just remembered. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Unification 3 is going to be all about.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's the big when they said Unification Part 3 or Unit 3 Part 3 or 3.
Wait a second. There's an episode titled Unification Part 3.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, and I've just gotten you guys just gave me the biggest goosebumps I've ever had. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. What?
Yeah, they spoke about it. Actually, I can't remember, but
I'm gonna go watch. Super analyze Unifications Part 1 and 2 now. It's nuts. It's crazy.
The biggest wish I want from that episode isn't just seeing what that means, but I would love it if Burnham finds out what Spock did later in his life, and seeing that he did reach out to someone that was opposite with him with Kirk, and then he became this leading figure in the Federation and eventually gave his life to try and save the enemy in the Romulans.
That's a very nice
I
Spock
would
stand.
love that.
If anyone in the Discovery team is watching this, if that's not what's going to happen, please rewrite it because we don't want to disappoint Dom. Rewrite it and refilm it. Dom's so passionate about it that I want that to be what happens. So that's awesome. Well, guys, any closing thoughts before we sign off? And feel free to promote. I know we did that in the beginning, but feel free to promote anything that's going on for you guys that you want people to go and pay attention to. I'll just put you up one at a time on the screen. We'll start with you, Robbie.
I promote Triangulum Audio Studios' channel. He has some fantastic content.
Aw, thank you.
And that's all.
Cheers. That's
Awesome.
excellent.
I do love Robbie. He's a man of so few words, but they're to the point.
Is that a very Scottish trait, or is that just something that's you, Robbie?
That's just me.
Okay.
I know a few Scotsmen, and it's Robbie. It is Robbie. It is Robbie. Yeah, I mean, just for me, it's obviously. Hopefully, you can join us in about 2 hours' time for Krishna Trek. Hopefully, we've got another guest. Somehow, on myself,
I will defeat you. I will destroy you. You are not going to survive this one.
Well,
no,
should I just say 811? But we've been very lucky with the guests. Robbie and Dom have previously been guests on. It's been good fun. Watch Trek Central. Trek Central is a fantastic channel.
Mm-hmm.
We love it, and hopefully you can come and have a look at my channel sometime if you ever get the chance, if you ever like it. But yeah,
I'll update this stream with all the links to all the things. Dom, what do you got to say to closing thoughts and
closing thoughts on this episode? You know, I just liked it to begin with. I really like it now. I'm looking forward to talking about episode 2 whenever I get the chance to do that. As you can see, my Twitter. Oh wait, it's over here. My Twitter's there. At Tom P. Paris. I'm also the content manager at Trek Central, where I write reviews and scripts, and I'll be on a live stream tomorrow on that channel, just talking about this episode and going in with how we viewed it. So look forward to that, and yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on. Well, we are promoting this channel, of course, and all the channels that were mentioned here tonight, and go check it all out. There will be links in the description for this video. I'll update it straight away. And Daniel, you weren't here probably for the beginning of this, but we are pausing our TOS discussions just, I think, while Discovery's running. Just there's a couple of things going on the back end that kind of have made me make that decision, but we will stream live at 3 p.m. Sometimes we'll do experimental weird stuff. Sometimes we'll do more Discovery discussions, but our regular Discovery discussions are on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Then Fridays we do something called TQIF. That stands for Thank Q. It's Friday and Must See YouTube, and it starts out on Text Trek with at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a deep dive into Star Trek Discovery, whatever latest episode is out, and then we continue with Star Trek Starfleet Boy After Dark, which is a ridiculous show about everything. And last night we had some shenanigans. By the way, we figured out last night that there will be we theorized that there will be an Enterprise introduced in Star Trek Discovery Season 3. It's the Enterprise Z.
Chris Hemsworth was on.
Okay.
So that's what we're saying, and we just like the way it sounds. The Enterprise Z. Don't you
that's the British way of saying it. Enterprise.
It is true, but it just sounds fun. It's like the Enterprise Z. We also have a design contest. If you can design the Enterprise Z, then then you might win the official Enterprise Z design. We're also asking Andrew Probert and oh, my brain is failing me. Who's the main designer of all the ships? That's wonderful.
Johnny.
John Eves, thank you. Oh my gosh. Sorry, John Eves, if you're listening to this. I did not mean to forget you. Anyways, so check out Starfleet Boy After Dark and then these streams at 3 p.m. Gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of your day. Conti says, Triangulum Studios, if you'd like to join us for some Trek Madness, let him know. Send me a DM, send him a DM, and live long and prosper, and we'll see you next